All right, let's get back to tonight's big Republican debate, the third Republican debate. Here to help us break it all down, we bring in Julia Manchester, reporter with our partners at The Hill. Julia, welcome to you. So I had posed this question to Kelly Meyer, who was live for us in Miami, but what is different about tonight's debate? I mean, obviously we know there are going to be fewer candidates on stage, but what is really going to be the biggest influence tonight?
Look, it's a smaller stage, and as Kelly mentioned, you have the Israel-Hamas war playing in the backdrop, and this is a foreign policy issue that has really impacted, I think, domestic politics here in the United States, whether you're part of the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. And you've seen some of these candidates, most notably Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis, really debate over how to handle this conflict going forward. So I think you're going to see that play out as well, and I think that's the biggest difference as to how they handle that foreign policy. For Nikki Haley, she's going to be talking about her own experience as former UN ambassador to U.S. ambassador to the United States. Ron DeSantis will likely be talking about the fact that he is the only person on the stage, the only person in the field who is a veteran and has served in the Middle East. So we'll likely hear that experience.
All right. Yeah. So we're seeing both of those candidates there on the screen with you, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley. They seem to be who everyone is really talking about. Is this kind of really a competition between the two of them? You know, Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis tonight. I mean, obviously Donald Trump is still looming very large, but are they more likely to focus on each other or focus on the former president?
I think they're going to do a little bit of both, because we know that their campaigns and their super PACs have certainly telegraphed that they are going to go after each other and they want to hit each other on a number of different issues, whether that be foreign policy, the economy, or other issues. But they'll also go after Donald Trump, because remember, there is this idea that they are essentially competing for second place. And while that's all great and good, the question is, what do you do after you get that second place spot? How do you go after Donald Trump?
You know, and Julia, I asked two pundits last hour this next question, and we actually kind of got dueling responses. But last night's election results certainly show abortion rights do remain at the forefront of the minds of many Americans. Do you think we'll see any sort of pivot tonight from the five candidates?
It's a good question. I'm curious to see how Nikki Haley handles this issue. She's someone who has talked about the fact that there has to be consensus at a federal level if there is going to be some sort of ban or restriction. But, for Ron DeSantis, and, he's going to be questioned, I think, about his own record on abortion, how he signed a 6-week ban into law into Florida with some exceptions.
You know, and Julia, you talked about this in your first answer, but, so many Americans right now are really paying attention to not only what's happening here in the U.S., but what's also happening all around the world. We have this war in Ukraine. We have the war in Gaza in the Middle East. There's the threat of China when it comes to Taiwan. Does Nikki Haley have the obvious advantage as a former U.S. ambassador?
She does have an advantage, certainly, in talking about that. But like I said, for Ron DeSantis, he has the experience of serving overseas as well. But, Nikki Haley dealt with this specific issue, Israel and Hamas. She can point to the Trump administration's, track record with the Abraham Accords, happening and passing that in terms of normalizing relations between Israel and other Arab countries in the region. But at the same time, that happened under the Trump administration. So Donald Trump can point to that as well.
All right, Julia Manchester, national politics reporter with our partners at The Hill. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.